David walked into school on his last day carrying a cardboard box. His colleagues thought he was being let go. He was not. He was retiring. At 42 years old. After teaching English for 17 years in a public school. On a salary that never once crossed $40,000. The deputy head teacher pulled him aside that morning and asked the question everyone in the building was thinking. How? David smiled. And said the same thing he had been saying to anyone who would listen for the past decade. I just decided early. This is his story. And it will change the way you think about time, money, and the career you are sitting in right now. David grew up in a small town in Ohio. His parents were teachers. His grandparents were teachers. Teaching was not just a job in his family. It was an identity. He loved it. He genuinely loved standing in front of a classroom. He loved the moment a student understood something for the first time. But he also knew something that most of his colleagues refused to admit. Teaching would never make him rich. The starting salary was $28,000. After 15 years of experience and a master's degree, he was earning $38,500. He was 32 years old when he sat down one evening and did the math. If he worked until 65, he would earn approximately $1.1 million in total lifetime income. He stared at that number for a long time. $1.1 million. Over 33 more years of work. And then he asked himself a question that changed everything. What if I don't spend most of it? David made a decision the next morning. Not a resolution. A decision with a number and a date attached to it. He would retire at 42. 10 years away. He wrote it down. He told his wife. She did not laugh. She asked one question. What do we need to do? That weekend, they sat at their kitchen table with every bank statement, every bill, every subscription, and every expense from the past 12 months spread out in front of them. The total was shocking. $4,200 a year on dining out. $1,800 on subscriptions they barely used. $6,400 on a car loan for a vehicle losing value every month. They were spending money on things they had never consciously chosen. That evening they made a list. Not a budget. A list of the things they actually cared about. Everything else was cut. The car loan was gone within the month. They sold it, took a small loss, and bought a used Honda with cash. Within 30 days they had freed up $940 a month. Every dollar went directly into investments. David and his wife had one rule. They called it the rule of halves. Every single raise, every bonus, every tax refund, half went into their investment account the same day it arrived. Not after expenses. Not after treating themselves. The same day. David maxed out his 403b retirement account every year. Then he opened a Roth IRA for himself and one for his wife. Maxed them out too. The remaining money went into a standard brokerage account, low-cost index funds only. No individual stocks. No cryptocurrency. No speculative bets. Just the market. Over time. Compounding quietly in the background. By year 3, the account had grown to $94,000. By year 5, $210,000. By year 7, something unexpected happened. The account started growing faster than David could add to it. Compounding had shifted from a theory he understood to a force he could feel. By year 9, the number had crossed $480,000. He was 41 years old. 1 year ahead of schedule. In his final year of teaching, David did something unusual. He told his students what he was doing. Not to show off. But because he was a teacher. And this was the most important lesson he had ever had the chance to give. He put his investment account balance on the board. The room went silent. He walked them through every decision. The car. The subscriptions. The rule of halves. The index funds. The decade of patience. A student in the back row raised her hand. But don't you feel like you missed out on things? David thought about it for a moment. Then he said, I missed out on things I would never have remembered anyway. And I traded them for something I will never have to give back. He taught his last class on a Friday in June. The following Monday, for the first time in 17 years, he did not set an alarm. When I asked David what the real secret was, he did not hesitate. He said, everyone waits until they have more money to start. I started with the money I had. That 10-year head start is the only reason I am sitting here at 42 and not 65. Here's the truth that most people never hear. You do not need a high salary to retire early. You need a long runway and a decision. The salary almost does not matter. What matters is the gap between what you earn and what you spend, and what you do with that gap for long enough. David earned $38,500 a year. He retired a millionaire. Not by being lucky. By deciding, 10 years before anyone else thought it was possible. If David's story made you think about your own numbers, follow this channel right now. Every single day we share a real financial story from a real person who changed their life. Tomorrow's story is about a single mother who turned $400 and a business idea she was too afraid to say out loud into a $2 million company. Follow. And we will see you tomorrow.